Today we have Head of Equity of Samco, Mr. Paras Matalia with us. Before we discuss on the NFO and its strategy, a brief introduction of Mr. Paras. Mr. Paras Matalia is the fund manager and head of equity research. He has an overall experience of nearly 9 years with about 6 years in capital markets. He is the head of equity research and fund manager for Samco Mutual Fund, where he has played a pivotal role in analyzing investments and construction of fund portfolio. He has been crucial in the creation of the proprietary tech frameworks, which does periodic scenario analysis on fundamentals, as well as trend of thousands of companies. Being tech savvy, he has a strong understanding of how to leverage technology to improve the investment and portfolio management progress. He started his career as an equity analyst for creating stock basket portfolios, which is a long-term thematic research and investment platform. And then he went on to head Stock Basket business unit. He was also a key member in developing stock rating metrics and Mosdex algorithms, which rates and ranks Indian listed stocks with Samco Securities. He is an expert on creating rules-based investing and fundamental analysis. He is also passionate about understanding business strategies and creating algorithms to identify price patterns. Now, coming back, welcome, Paras. Thank you for sparing time and sharing your thoughts on this new NFO. So what I would request you is that to start with, kindly brief us a little bit about the mutual fund, Samco Mutual Fund, its background, the promoters, and the business philosophy, fund house philosophy, and then move on to the product. And we'll request everybody to post your questions in the chat box or raise hands. And as and when Paras is through with his presentations, we'll take the questions one by one. Over to you, Paras.
Thank you, Shashank, and thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure, and thank you everyone who's joined in today for your time. And I hope I'll be able to do justice to your time. So let's start. I'll just quickly give the a very short background of who we are, what we do, uh, and then we can talk about the multi-cap NFO. I'll just share my screen. Give me a minute. Yes. Is my screen visible? Okay. So quick background about the group. We are more than a 30-year-old group. We started in 1993 as Samruddhi by Mr. Vipul Modi, who's a rank holder chartered accountant. He was the youngest CA till 2016. In 2015, the second generation, Mr. Jimit Modi, rebranded Samruddhi to Samco, and we shifted our business model from a traditional broking house to a discount broking house. Since then, we've been on the journey to become a full stack wealth and asset management platform. Brief overview of the group. The Samco Group has financial services business and real estate business. Within the financial services business, we have broking, we have AMC, we have wealth, and we have NBFC. In real estate, we have few projects in the Mumbai MMR and West India region, but it's separately managed by the promoters. And also we have a family office with more than $250 million assets in public and private equities. Talking about the asset management business, our mission is very clear: to help investors create highest possible risk-adjusted returns over the long term by building differentiated, active, non-index hugging strategies that investors cannot generally do themselves. That is our mission. It is very clear that we want to come out with strategies that are active and they are not index hugging, which is probably the a lot of schemes that you will see that are benchmark hugging or index hugging, which something that we want to differentiate ourselves as, and to create strategies that help investors create risk adjusted returns. uh, I'll just quickly introduce the board. The trustee board is chaired by Mr. G.N. Vajpayee. He's former chairman of SEBI and LIC. He's our mentor, and he's the guiding light. हमें बहुत help करते हैं on a day-to-day basis also. Mr. Prabhat Kumar is former cabinet secretary and first governor of Jharkhand. Mr. Salish Gedia is a senior chartered accountant and former director of Punjab and Sindh Bank. Mr. Sanjeev Kapoor, also a chartered accountant, CS and LLB, previously engaged with BSE. Our AMC board is also full of renowned people, chaired by Mr. Ashok Kakkar as the chairman, and also our CIO and founder, Mr. Jimit Modi, are also part of the board. Our CIO, Mr. Umesh Kumar Mehta, has been with the group for almost 17, 18 years now. He's total experience in the markets is of about 22 years. And, he's kind of the mentor when it comes to markets for all of us here at Samco. Our CEO, Mr. Viraj Gandhi, started in his career as a research analyst in the finance industry with ICICI Sec, and then went on to become the BFSI analyst with Ask PMS. I'll just run through this slide. So this one is important. So our journey so far, we are over 2,600 crores plus AUM, 1,50,000 plus folios, and 25,000 plus partners. We've been, recognized now as the innovators of the industry with the first actively managed momentum fund. And as you might know, a lot of active funds are, in line for approval. Uh, we also created a unique ELSS with mid and small cap portfolios, which currently also I think none of the other AMCs offer. And we've created a truly dynamic, unique DAF product as well, where we go 0 to 100 on a real time basis depending on the market conditions. So that's a very, very short, fast, quick introduction to what we are, who we are, what we do things, how we do things. And one thing that I want to add here is that we are someone who manages all our funds using rule-based systems, using algos and quant methodologies, which I think a lot of you would be aware, as I think PL's Aqua is doing a similar strategy, following a similar strategy. So let's come, to the reason why we met today. It's the Samco Multicap Fund NFO. It starts from 10th of October to 24th of October. Shashank ji, is complete English fine or a mix of Hindi English is better? Please let
English
me.
is fine, but a mix of Hindi and English should be better.
Okay, okay, I'll be mindful of that. So, before we start, इंडस्ट्री में क्या चल रहा है, मल्टी कैप फंड्स में क्या चल रहा है, वो देखते हैं. जब भी हम अभी एनएफओ के रोड शोज के लिए ट्रैवल कर रहे थे, वी आस्क्ड पीपल, वी आस्क्ड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स कि आपको क्या लगता है कि पिछले 3 साल में सबसे फास्टेस्ट ग्रोइंग इक्विटी कैटेगरी कौन सी होगी. Generally, Shashank sir, the answer is that we get small cap funds, mid cap funds would have probably grown the most. But the true answer is multi-cap category. It has grown by 80, almost 85% over the last 3 years, while the small cap fund category has grown by 49%. The sectoral theme or thematic has grown by 47%. So the highest growth in terms of equity oriented schemes, you can see multi-cap funds has grown. We still feel that it's still a very, very under penetrated category, and even though flexi cap is the biggest category, our prediction is that over the next 5 to 6 years, multi-cap category will become the largest equity category with probably 20% of the equity AUM with the category. Why we feel this is because multi-cap में जो है discipline होता है कि 25% mid cap, 25% small cap भी रखना compulsory है. While flexi cap, fund manager discretion comes in, and at times they are holding or leaning more towards larger caps and probably losing a bit on alpha. So, as a distributor or as a investment advisor, you have to make sure that you are part of this category, and also us as manufacturers, we also have to make sure that we are part of this category, which has grown the fastest and is expected to become the biggest in the equity category. So let's look at what the current positioning looks like. 24 मल्टी कैप फंड्स है इंडस्ट्री में. 24 मल्टी कैप फंड में जो अगर आप large mid small का breakup देखोगे तो more or less it's like the benchmark which is Nifty 500 50 25 25 यानी 50% large cap 25% mid cap 25% small cap। इंडस्ट्री आज उसके आजू बाजू ही है जहाँ पे आप देखेंगे तो लार्ज कैप में करीबन एवरेज 40% है, मिड कैप में एवरेज 26% है, स्मॉल कैप में एवरेज 28% है। सो यू कैन सी दैट industry is leaning towards the benchmark as we earlier discussed. What's the current market scenario? A lot of investment strategies are traditional where they restrict themselves only and only to fundamental way of investing. But here we are also including trend analysis, momentum investing as well. A lot of other products have static portfolio which does not change a lot. It goes through a low churn, but the market structures have changed significantly over the last few years, and what fast dynamic management has become very very important. जब भी हम बात करते हैं इन्वेस्टर्स का तो आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ यू मस्ट बी फेसिंग कि इन्वेस्टर्स को आज के समय में कुछ ना कुछ एक्स्ट्रा चाहिए। दे आर नॉट हैप्पी विद इवन 25 26 30% केगर रिटर्न्स। सो today's investors want something extra, thoda extra chahiye, and we give this example of khichdi, as announced by Mr. PM Modi, that khichdi is the national food where three ingredients become part of khichdi, which is rice, dal, and ghee. But today's investors want that extra flavor कि जहाँ पे कुछ एक्स्ट्रा स्वाद आए, तो वो स्वाद भी हम कैसे ऐड करेंगे वो हम जानेंगे। So we have created a very short, fun ad to showcase what that extra flavor is for us, and I hope it. I'll just play that ad for you. Give me a second.
वेल्थ बनानी है कि नहीं तो अपने बैल दौड़ाओ। ये है लाडवा, ये मिडवा और ये है छुटवा। रैबिक खत्म ना हुआ, वैसे सबसे शानदार चिंटुआ। इनसे बनता है सैमको मल्टी कैप फंड विद 4 in 1 स्ट्रेटजी, जिसमें ये चारों मिलकर लड़ेंगे आपके लिए मार्केट की बुल फाइट। आज ही निवेश करें। म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार के जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
So I hope the message is clear, and what we are trying to showcase here is that something the fourth part, which is something which is not there for a lot of investors, is something that we are trying to add. So it's a 4-in-1 strategy where 25% large.
Sorry to interrupt, Paras. I've missed the fourth one. Large, small, and mid and small. What was the fourth one?
The fourth one is small caps beyond Nifty 500.
All right. Yeah. Thank
So
you.
that is something which is currently missing from the industry, and that is why it's a unique 4-in-1 strategy which no other player in the industry today has. So this is what the portfolio allocation of the multi-cap fund will look like during normal market hours, which is 25% large, 25% mid, 25% small, and 25% beyond Nifty 500. Now it's मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि अलग होने के लिए अलग होना है, बट वैल्यू एडिशन होनी चाहिए, इन्वेस्टर्स को फायदा होना चाहिए, इसलिए अलग होना चाहिए। सो हाउ दिस स्मॉल कैप्स बियॉन्ड 500 एड्स, तो निफ्टी का एक माइक्रो कैप 250 इंडेक्स है जो 500 से लेके 501 से लेके 750 के स्टॉक्स को ट्रैक करता है। नाउ द रिटर्न फॉर दिस इंडेक्स एज यू कैन सी ऑन द स्क्रीन इज 24.81% केगर कंपेयर टू निफ्टी 100 विच इज लार्ज कैप एट 12.7%। यानी आप देखोगे तो डबल अल्फा जनरेट हुआ है इन टर्म्स ऑफ केगर सिंस 2005। नाउ इट इज नॉट फेयर कि हम सिर्फ इसे स्मॉल कैप लार्ज कैप के साथ कंपेयर करें, स्मॉल कैप के साथ भी अगर हम कंपेयर करें तो द अल्फा जनरेटेड बाय
One screen is not moving.
screen
Yeah,
is not moving.
yeah,
Just
it is still showing introduction.
sorry, my bad. I'll change the screen. Is it visible now? Can you see microcap 250 versus small cap?
Yeah, it is.
So I'll just share this slide again where microcap 250 is compared with Nifty 100. And you can see that the alpha generated by microcap 250 index is significantly higher than Nifty 100. But again, comparing it with, trying to do a apple to apple comparison, this is microcap 250 versus small cap 250. तो आप इसमें देखेंगे तो अगेन ऑलमोस्ट 7% का अल्फा जनरेट होता है विच अगेंस्ट स्मॉल कैप इंडेक्स विच इज ह्यूज ह्यूज ह्यूज. सो जस्ट नॉट फ्रॉम प्राइस पर्सपेक्टिव, अगर हम फंडामेंटल्स भी देखें तो फंडामेंटल्स में भी ऑलमोस्ट हर पैरामीटर्स पे, चाहे आप सेल्स ग्रोथ का बात करें, चाहे आप प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ का बात करें, चाहे आप रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी का बात करें, या चाहे आप रिटर्न ऑन कैपिटल एम्प्लॉयड का बात करें, तो जो निफ्टी 500 के स्मॉल कैप है उसके कंपैरिजन में दीज माइक्रो कैप 250 स्टॉक्स आर रैंकिंग हायर. यानी सेल्स ग्रोथ भी हाई है, रेवेन्यू ग्रोथ भी हाई है, आरओई आरओसी भी हाई है. सो ओवरऑल दिस इज नॉट अ बैड यूनिवर्स टू लुक फॉर जेम्स. So our stock selection process is also very unique. We use a proprietary stock selection model using trend, momentum, and quality models. It is a balanced portfolio sizing across market cap and active rebalancing during the period of downtrends. So we'll see the balance towards the end. Let's see कि ये जो proprietary model है वो क्या करता है. तो यहाँ पे हमारा कोशिश ऐसा है कि हर एक स्टॉक जो है वो 4 phases के थ्रू जाता है. First is accumulation, where the smart money institutional investors gather the stock. तो एक रेंज में ट्रेड होता है, and then the stock goes into phase 2, which is acceleration, where a lot of follow up buying comes in. And phase 3 is distribution, where again the stock is in sideways motion, and a lot of smart investors exit their positions during this phase. And then follow up selling comes, where there is a huge decline in the share price. So the objective of our stock selection proprietary model is to capture as many stocks as possible in the phase 2, which is acceleration phase. How we have defined these phases is basically, this is a very basic version of what we have designed. Is basically in the accumulation phase, the price should be above both MA 150 and MA 200. The slope of MA should be starting to move upwards. The MA 150 should be above 200 MA. I know it gets a bit technical, so I would not spend a lot of time here, but this is the basic idea. One of the factors that we use to identify stage of a stock is basically the MAs and price movement compared to the MAs. Now let's look at the results of this. When we came out with Active Momentum's NFO, we presented few stock ideas as to how the model picked up. So we had given examples of Balaji Amines and Alkyl Amines, where no analyst covered that stock when there was a buy signal in the system. एंड व्हेन द स्टॉक हैड ऑलरेडी रन अप बाय 6x 7x, मतलब 6-7 गुना स्टॉक हो गया था, उसके बाद जाके पहला एनालिस्ट कवरेज आया. सो what we do is we don't depend a lot on sell side broking research. We take their help, but our primary focus is on our models, which helps us discover these kind of hidden gems. Now this is a real life example from our active momentum portfolio, how it gave a signal in Tips Industries, and we bought it in Active Momentum Fund. Since then, it has given more than double the return. And this is we were the first AMC, to invest in this stock, followed by another big AMC that came in, but we were the first ones to invest in this. Second example is Vocard Pharma, where in last 2.5 years, we were the first ones to, pick up in, stake in Vocard Pharma. And again, this is also one of those stocks which has given us a very good return. So there are many such examples where we were the first AMC to invest in the company, and because of our models, we were able to do that. Now let's look at active rebalancing. So basically, it keeps on rebalancing on a real-time basis, where, say for example, a stock has moved from stage 2 to stage 3. We don't wait for a periodic rebalancing, but on a real-time basis, we see what stocks are moving from stage 2 to stage 3 or stage 3 to stage 4. And if it is part of the portfolio, then it goes out, and something that looks like is entering stage 2, uska portfolio में entry होगा. सो इट्स वेरी ऑब्वियस कि रिटर्न का बात हमने किया कि अल्फा जनरेट होता है, रिस्क का बात करना भी बहुत ज़रूरी है, और हम रिस्क कैसे हैंडल करेंगे वो समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है. सो व्हाट वी हैव डन इज कि दो तरह के मार्केट्स डिफाइन किए. एक है कि जो स्टेडी अप मूविंग मार्केट्स है उसमें पोर्टफोलियो कैसे दिखेगा, एंड दूसरा कि डाउन फेज है उसमें पोर्टफोलियो कैसा दिखेगा. तो उसका एक कंपैरिजन है. ड्यूरिंग नॉर्मल मार्केट कंडीशंस आपका 25% लार्ज कैप होगा, 25% मिड कैप होगा, 25% स्मॉल कैप होगा और 25% निफ्टी 500 के नीचे के स्मॉल कैप्स होंगे। जब जो ये डाउन ट्रेंड खराब होगा, यानी मार्केट खराब होगा, डाउन ट्रेंड में एंटर करेगा, तो हम लार्ज कैप जो है वो पूरा हेज कर लेंगे क्योंकि सारे एफएनओ स्टॉक्स होंगे। मिड कैप जो 25% है उसमें से 10 से 15% एफएनओ स्टॉक्स होंगे, वो हेज कर पाएंगे। एंड जो 25% निफ्टी 500 के बाहर के स्मॉल कैप्स का है, वो हम कंप्लीटली एग्जिट करके आर्बिट्राज या डेट में जाएंगे, बट वी विल मेक श्योर दैट वी फॉलो और वी गेट टैक्स्ड एज इक्विटी टैक्सेशन। तो आपका जो नेट नेट इक्विटी होगा वो ऑलमोस्ट 35-40% के आसपास हो जाएगा, जिससे आप जो डाउन ट्रेंडिंग मार्केट्स है उसमें आपका पार्टिसिपेशन लो हो जाएगा। ये एग्जाम्पल डैफ का है कि हम डैफ में भी ऐसा एक्टिव रीबैलेंसिंग कर रहे हैं टू मैनेज रिस्क, टू मैनेज डाउनसाइड। आपको दिख रहा होगा कि अलर्ट बॉट करके एक बॉट है जो हम यूज करते हैं हमारे ऑफिशियल मैसेजिंग पे। ये अलर्ट आता है वेयर इट पिक्स अप फ्रॉम आवर मॉडल्स की इक्विटी इक्विटी एक्सपोजर कितना होना चाहिए। सो फॉर एग्जांपल आप स्क्रीन पे देख पा रहे होंगे कि 31 जुलाई को जीरो डेट था, यानी आप फुल्ली इन्वेस्टेड हो। बट फिर मार्केट थोड़ा सा गिरता है, आपका 3% डेट बढ़ जाता है, फिर मार्केट और गिरता है, आपका डेट बढ़ते जाता है। सो यू कैन सी रियल टाइम उसके साथ साथ हमारे पोर्टफोलियो का भी जो इक्विटी एक्सपोजर है वो एडजस्ट हो रहा है। नाउ इसका फायदा क्या होगा कि ये पीरियड में जो है निफ्टी 50 1.42% से गिरी, जबकि जब शुरुआत हुई फॉल की तभी हम भी ऑलमोस्ट फुली इन्वेस्टेड थे। फिर मार्केट गिरता गया, हमारा इक्विटी एक्सपोजर कम होता गया, तो हम कम गिरे। जो डाफ का एनएवी है वो ऑलमोस्ट 1% से गिरा। तो ये रियल टाइम एक्टिव रीबैलेंसिंग करके आप डाउनसाइड प्रोटेक्शन भी बहुत सुपीरियर तरीके से कर सकते हैं। नाउ जैसे कि मैंने आपको शुरुआत में कहा कि सैमको म्यूचुअल फंड में हम सब कुछ मॉडल ड्रिवन इन्वेस्टिंग करते हैं। तो मल्टी कैप का मॉडल अगर हम देखें तो ये उसका बैक टेस्टेड रिजल्ट है। फ्रॉम अप्रैल 2005 टिल नाउ इफ यू हैड इन्वेस्टेड 10 रुपी, 10 रुपए का 969 हुआ होता, जबकि बेंचमार्क में ये 209 रुपए हुआ होता। तो यू कैन सी द अल्फा जनरेशन कैपेबिलिटी दैट दिस मॉडल हैज, द पोटेंशियल दिस मॉडल हैज। जब रिटर्न का बात कर रहे हैं तो ड्रॉडाउन का बात करना भी ज़रूरी है। एंड एज वी शोड यू दैट एक्टिव रीबैलेंसिंग, डायनेमिक रीबैलेंसिंग करके जो है आपका इक्विटी एक्सपोजर मैनेज होता है। उस कारण से डाउन साइड प्रोटेक्शन भी इसमें सुपीरियर मिल सकता है। नाउ दिस इज द बैक टेस्टेड रिजल्ट ऑफ ड्रॉडाउन चार्ट। आप देखेंगे 2008 में बेंचमार्क जो है वो 68% से गिरता है, लेकिन आपका जो मॉडल का एनएवी है वो 37% से गिरता है। अगेन इन 2020 you can see that the model has fallen by almost 26-27%, but the benchmark has fallen by 42%। तो बहुत रिस्क जो मैनेजमेंट है वो बहुत सुपीरियर है। एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ऑल्सो जो रिटर्न है वो आपका अल्फा बनने का कैपेबिलिटी यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा है। जब भी आप मॉडल टेस्ट करते हो तो यू हैव टू इंश्योर कि आप रोलिंग रिटर्न्स चेक करें, बिकॉज रोलिंग रिटर्न जो है आपको मॉडल की सच्चाई बताता है। दिस इज अ 3 year रोलिंग रिटर्न एंड यू कैन सी देर इज नॉट बीन अ सिंगल पीरियड की जहाँ पे 3 साल में ये मॉडल का जो रिटर्न है वो नेगेटिव हुआ हो। सो वन मोर क्वेश्चन का आंसर जो है वो ये है कि अगर क्लाइंट का इन्वेस्ट कराना है तो 3 साल का पैसा मिनिमम होना चाहिए, नॉट लेस देन दैट। बट अगेन यू कैन सी हाउ वेल द रिस्क हैज बीन मैनेज्ड कि 3 साल में रोलिंग रिटर्न, यानी आप हर दिन अगर इन्वेस्ट करो तो 3 साल के बाद क्या रिटर्न होगा। तो आपका मॉडल एवरी डे पे टेस्ट होता है, नॉट फ्रॉम अ पर्टिकुलर स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट टू पर्टिकुलर एंडिंग पॉइंट। नाउ दिस इज द रियल टाइम मार्केट कैप एलोकेशंस, जो पूरा बैक टेस्ट है उसका रहेगा। तो आप देखेंगे तो जो 25% स्मॉल कैप है जो मैंने कहा था वो वैसा का वैसा रहेगा, बट योर लार्ज मिड एंड स्मॉल कैप बियॉन्ड 500 विल कीप ऑन चेंजिंग। तो आप देखेंगे तो जो ग्रीन है वो लार्ज कैप है, तो लार्ज कैप का प्रोपोर्शंस भी चेंज होते रहता है, डेट का प्रोपोर्शंस चेंज होते रहता है, माइक्रो कैप जो स्मॉल कैप है बियॉन्ड 500 उसका प्रोपोर्शंस चेंज होता है। सो बेस्ड ऑन मार्केट कंडीशंस अगर मार्केट्स खराब होते हैं तो आपका डेट जो है यानी रेड पार्ट है वो बहुत सिग्निफिकेंटली बढ़ जाएगा, विच विल हेल्प यू प्रोटेक्ट द डाउनसाइड। मॉडल रिटर्न्स का बात करें तो इट हैज जनरेटेड 26.7% केगर सिंस 1 April 2005। दिस इज अ बैक टेस्टेड रिटर्न एंड बट इट हैज डन दिस विद अ स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन ऑफ ओनली 13.65, यानी 26.7% का रिटर्न दिया है, लेकिन जो वेरिएशन होता है प्राइस मूवमेंट में वो सिग्निफिकेंटली कम है 13.65। बट बेंचमार्क से कंपेयर करें तो बेंचमार्क ने इस पीरियड में सिर्फ 17.11% का रिटर्न दिया है, बट विद अ वेरी वेरी हाई स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन ऑफ 20.22। यानी यहाँ पे आपका रिस्क एडजस्टेड रिटर्न जो हम बात करते हैं जो शार्प रेशियो से मेजर होता है तो यहाँ पे बहुत सिग्निफिकेंट है, जहाँ पे मॉडल का शार्प इज मोर देन इज ऑलमोस्ट 2 टाइम्स, जो बहुत अच्छा मेजर है, बहुत अच्छा रिस्क रिवॉर्ड का यहाँ पे आपको देखने मिलेगा। हाइलाइट्स आर वेरी सिंपल कि मतलब क्लाइंट्स आपको पूछेंगे कि एनएफओ में क्यों इन्वेस्ट करना है, तो देर आर वेरी फ्यू सिंपल आइडियाज दैट यू कैन पास ऑन। कि एक तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ऐसा प्रोडक्ट इंडस्ट्री में नहीं है आज, बिकॉज इसमें स्मॉलर कैप एलोकेशन है, यानी जो निफ्टी 500 के बियॉन्ड के स्मॉल कैप है उसका एलोकेशन है, जो सुपीरियर रिटर्न देते हैं। सेकेंड, स्टॉक सिलेक्शन प्रोप्राइटरी मॉडल के थ्रू होता है, जहाँ पे आपको ऐसे ऐसे स्टॉक्स देखने मिलेंगे जो आपको कोई और म्यूचुअल फंड में नहीं देखने मिलते बहुत बार। थर्ड, अगर मार्केट्स खराब होते हैं तो डाउन ट्रेंडिंग में हेजिंग करके आपका नेट इक्विटी एक्सपोजर कम हो जाता है, यानी आप गिरते हुए मार्केट में कम पार्टिसिपेट करते हो। एंड फोर्थ, डायनामिक रीबैलेंसिंग है कि कहीं पे किसी स्टॉक का स्टेज चेंज हो रहा है, स्टेज इट इज गोइंग टुवर्ड्स डाउन ट्रेंड एंड देर इज अ बेटर अपॉर्चुनिटी अवेलेबल, तो उसमें आपका मॉडल स्विच हो जाएगा, विच विल ऑल्सो हेल्प यू गिव better returns. So, 4 reasons to invest. It is a unique 4-in-1 strategy not available with any other scheme in the market. Second, very dynamic strategy की real time reallocation होता है, जहाँ पे hedging करके downside protect की जाती है, and the risk management is very very robust. Diversified portfolio बनेगा बहुत, and this will help investors to gain a lot of risk adjusted return. The fund management team consists of Mr. Umesh Kumar Mehta. I've already introduced him. I am also a fund manager, and Shashank ji has done very, very good justice to my introduction, so I'll not waste time again. Mr. Dhaval is the third fund manager with the, in this fund, and he's also a chartered accountant. He's, been with the Samco group for almost now 5 years, and also, has experience in fundamental analysis and is extremely, extremely good at fundamental in-depth analysis of businesses. Scheme features are simple. The benchmark is Nifty 500 multi-cap 50 25 25 TRI. Minimum lump sum amount is 5,000. Minimum SIP amount is 500. Exit load is 1% in the first year, but 10% of the units can be redeemed without an exit load. This is a standard label and riskometer, and standard disclaimer that the stock names that I've said today are only and only for illustration purposes. They are not for they are not recommendations, so please do not construe them as recommendations. And that's it from my side. Thank you so much for listening patiently. If you have any question, please be feel free to ask in the Q&A box.
Yeah, I'd request participants to send questions in the chat box or raise hands so that I can unmute.
Pankaj ji is also on the call. Pankaj ji, how are you?
All good, all good. I just also one question from my side. So you said he will be dynamically rebalancing it. If you have a downtrend, so what is the definition of downtrend? What is the trigger for that? How you come to know?
So, it will be a progressive, cuts in the equity exposure or progressive entries. So there are combination of conditions where if those conditions meet, डाउन ट्रेंड शुरू होता है या डाउन ट्रेंड खत्म होता है, बट उसमें विपशॉस भी आएंगे, बट वन राइट प्रोजेक्शन ऑफ डाउन ट्रेंड विल हेल्प यू सेव अ लॉट ऑफ डाउन साइड। तो इसमें एमएस भी यूज होता है, वॉल्यूम भी यूज होता है, प्राइस मतलब रोलिंग रिटर्न्स भी यूज होता है, एंड योर combination of all of these becomes a condition for the downtrend and uptrend.
One question from my side, Paras. You
Yes.
shared with us the back-tested results.
Yes.
So with the benchmark and the fund back-tested. Now, do you have any slide which showcases the drawdown movements in the last 15, 20 years? And how does it compare with the benchmark?
Yes, I just showed it, I'll just show it again. This is the drawdown chart. So the darker line is the model
No,
and
the
lighter.
screen is not there. I'm not able to see the screen.
You are not able to see my screen. Uh,
No, we can see.
We can see you, but not the
okay.
not the graph, not your presentation.
So were
Yes.
you able to see my
Yeah,
presentation
yeah,
at
yeah,
this
yeah.
time? Shashank ji?
Yes, yeah, I'm able to see.
But were you able to see the presentation all this time or?
Yeah, 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 very much.
Okay. So this is the drawdown chart of the model. As I was saying that even during 2008, the benchmark fell by 68%, but the model's drawdown was at 37%.
Right. Just another question out of curiosity, it might seem a little out of place, which is that the competition can also invest beyond 500, right?
Correct. Correct.
And they also would definitely mention that they would pick out the winners out of the remaining 250.
Hmm.
And they also say that they use proprietary models to pick up the winners out of the 250.
Right.
So
But
when does
right. So I think I understand your question. So where is the differentiation for us, right?
yeah.
So I mean, sir, we are the smallest AMC in the industry. We are the 45th AMC, to be honest. But our goal is very clear to try and find unique strategies. But everyone, each and every investor will have their own unique way of picking stocks. But uh, our track record shows that we've been able to enter stocks far before other AMCs have come in. So the avenue was always open for them to do this, but unfortunately, it's not been done. So even if you look at the ELSS portfolio, right? I mean, mid and small cap ELSS is something that anyone could have done, but again, we were the ones who did it first this time. Uh, Momentum funds have been in the space for almost 3.5 years now, passive funds. No one came out with an actively managed momentum fund. So I think so all these things obviously can be done by anyone who enters the market, but I think the key, key differentiation or key advantage we have is that we've been doing this for quite some time now, and our proprietary methods are, helping us enter before a lot of other players enter. And also the real-time rebalancing is something that no one else in the industry is doing right now. No one else is doing it. Even the ones who have been doing quant way of investing for last 5, 7, 10 years, even they are not doing this.
So how many stocks would the portfolio have, and in each category, how many?
So the scheme will have about 100 stocks. Micro cap will have about 50 stocks.
About 50.
50 stocks. Mid cap, small cap will have about 20 or 15 to 20 stocks, and large cap will have about 15 to 20 stocks.
Large cap will have
About 15 to 20 stocks. But overall, it will come down to about 100 stocks.
So the question that would follow is that since you'll have almost 50 stocks in the smaller caps beyond Nifty
Yeah,
Nifty
500.
500, the weightages would be very insignificant.
Yes, but that is how it will help us to scale, because this will ensure that there is no, there is very less liquidity impact cost, hitting the scheme.
Hey, while I get that, but the point is, out of those 50 stocks, a significant number of them have to outperform and to be able to add to the overall portfolio meaningfully.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Yes.
if out of those 50 stocks, 5 stocks do exceptionally well, because of the lower weightage, they're not going to have any significant contribution to portfolio returns.
But sir, our expectation is that so the portfolio also, will keep on changing as in how the stocks enter and exit the stage two, basically. So whenever a stock is not doing well and other stocks are doing well, it will get replaced, at frequent periods. Second is that, the overall microcap space has done really well. The smaller caps have done really well. So even if they are not able to outperform the smaller cap index, but I think they should be able to do fairly well against the mid cap and large cap space is what our understanding is. But again, even if that does not happen, the 50 stock portfolio will keep on changing as in how the stocks perform.
But even if they change, the weightage is going to be individual stock wise is going to be very low.
But on an aggregate basis, they will be holding 25% of the portfolio, no? And on an aggregate basis, the 250 stock index is also done extremely well. So I'll just show you that slide. So this is the slide, it's micro cap 250 versus small cap 250. The index of 250 stocks has done extremely well. So 25% weight will, add alpha to the scheme. Even though on an aggregate, on a individual basis, these stocks will have very less weight, but on an aggregate basis, they have 25% weight. And because of our stock selection, there'll be, probably 20 out of 25 will be one of the fastest, fastest moving stocks out of those 250 stocks.
So what will be the lowest market cap in the small cap, or not small cap, and the micro cap segment?
I think if I remember correctly, the smallest company is, I think, 4,000 crores, if I'm not wrong.
Well, that will still can figure in your portfolio.
Yes, yes.
So what is the biggest risk, biggest downside that you see? It cannot be a fail proof, otherwise everybody would have launched.
True, true. So what, biggest risk that this model could have is basically, where we are in a phase where the markets are not in a clear trend, if it's not a clear uptrend, or if it's not a clear downtrend. And if that happens, then the portfolio will see a lot of equity exposure changes in terms of entries and exits, in terms of, raising the equity exposure or declining the equity exposure, and that will probably not add value, and also will add transaction costs. So during those sideway markets, this could underperform the index. But I think, our confidence is that over a 3.5 year period, it should be able to significantly outperform the index.
If I may add, there is, to every rule-based model, there's another downside or another risk that we get to mention, is that it is a continuously improving model.
Yes,
It's
yes.
not a model where all the rules have been already added and that's final.
True, true. So we are at multicap version 1. For active momentum, it is version 2. For ELSS, it is version 2. For DAF, it is still version 1. So, we keep on experimenting to improve the models.
How frequently that happens?
So whenever we find something that adds value, we create a hypothesis, we backtest it, we present it to the investment committee. The investment committee looks at the robustness of that edge. It should make intuitive sense, and not just, the numbers, but it has to also intuitively make a bit of sense. And if it is a robust insight, it either reduces standard deviation or increases the return, then it gets accepted, and it gets implemented in the model.
And in your overall, rules, set of rules, what kind of weightage would you give to technicals?
So technicals, I
Or rather, other factors, technicals, fundamental, momentum, all those.
so good
Individual.
amount of weight is given to momentum and trend. About 25-30% weight would be given to fundamental quality in terms of universes, and about 30-40% would be technicals. So it's a combination of, I'm not sure exactly, but this is broadly what weights we have given.
Any questions? May I request participants to raise hand or post in the Q&A chat box? Pankaj, you have any questions further?
Yeah. So far as like we are 75% of the portfolio will be in mid cap, small cap. So what kind of investor is ideal for this kind of portfolio?
So someone not so conservative, but again, even though 75% of portfolio is small, mid, and smaller, but what happens is that during bad periods, your equity exposure goes down. So during, extreme bear market, your equity exposure will fall down to 35-40%. So that will help protect your downside. But again, as I said, there should be someone who's investing for at least 3 years, and someone who can, see some kind of volatility, not much, but at least some volatility, because 25% small cap would always be part of the portfolio, and whenever the markets turn, the portfolio will also turn with it in terms of reducing exposure. So some volatility will be there, but lesser than in the overall scheme of things, it will be lesser than the benchmark. But again, if the client is too conservative, then at the they are not suitable for small cap, mid cap at all, in my opinion. But someone who has a 3-year horizon and can see some volatility, then I think it should be okay.
So mid cap, small cap already valuation is so high. You still feel this category will do well?
Sir, the valuations have been high for last 1 year, more than 1 year. So if we would have not invested in small cap, mid caps, and smaller caps, then I don't think we would have seen the kind of returns that we are seeing in our active momentum portfolio. So valuations, are there, but when you are following a buy and hold strategy, I think valuations help more. We are not following a buy and hold strategy here. It's a high churn strategy wherever our risk downside protection is much superior. So whenever a high valuation stock goes down, we could always hedge or exit from that stock, or invest in something that is doing better.
Okay. So at the moment, at the present scenario, your model says 100% equity, a normal one, or it is showing as a downtrend right now?
So it is in between. I think 4 days ago there was a cut in the exposure, and today there is a slightly increment in the exposure. So currently we are at, I think, 80% invested, 20%
Yes.
arbitrage.
Piyush, would you like to add anything?
Today, whatever I'm manufacturing is all, it's all only in software.
Hello.
Piyush, your voice is not audible properly.
Hello.
Yeah, Piyush.
Am I audible now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
better.
Good evening, friends. As explained by Paras bhai, our NFO has been going to start from 10 to 24. So all co-branded marketing materials have been shared. So everything has been also explained by Paras bhai. Only the thing is now we need your support for this NFO from you and your team, and let's have a good relationship and good numbers for this. And
Yeah, sure. May I request you to, your team to connect with our teams across the country, across the branches at a local level for any further support. I'm sure the branch list has been
sure.
exchanged through Pankaj and you.
Yeah. Maximum, I have been connecting to all of them, and even some location, all maximum location, our team are been connected to them also. And again, tomorrow we will be asking them to join you, and so join your team and your franchisee or whatever team you
Yeah,
are. We have.
I'll encourage my local team to invite a set of distributors like partners and investors, and with the help of you, and address them by your local team, so that there is some
Sure.
further engagement in terms of direct access to the fund management team or fund management company
Yeah,
for
sure.
the
We
product,
can do that.
so that there is a
Yeah,
direct connectivity in terms of the
yeah,
product.
sure. सो अगेन वंस अगेन रिक्वेस्ट दैट हमारा जो एनएफओ चालू हो रहा है 10 तारीख से, तो आप और आपकी टीम से अच्छा सपोर्ट मिले, पहले दिन से ही अच्छा नंबर्स हम लोग लॉग इन करें, और एक हेल्दी और बोलते ना म्यूचुअली दोनों को मजा आए काम करने की, वैसा माहौल बना के आगे बढ़े.
श्योर, हमारे लोकल टीम्स को थोड़ा सा आप एम्पावर कीजिए, एंगेज कीजिए. आई एम श्योर द रिजल्ट्स विल बी पॉजिटिव एंड एनकरेजिंग.
ओके टेकन.
And wherever you need specific assistance, you can please connect with Pankaj or me for
Sure.
the extra support.
So Paras, last question, what's your house view on the market? Too much volatility?
So I think
Both short term and 1 year.
short term, it's going to remain volatile. I think, the Indian markets became volatile yesterday, but we've been telling this, to our distributors since last 2-3 weeks that the volatility is here to stay for next 2-3 months. There's also presidential elections in the US. This time it is absolutely, no clue who's going to win. It's a very, very close race. So creates a lot of uncertainty in the geopolitical sense.
Close
And
fight.
very close fight, and adding to what is already going on in the Middle East. So I think it's going to remain volatile also. I think the bigger reason for it to remain volatile is Chinese economy stimulation, where now a lot of investors are attracted, global investors are attracted towards the Chinese markets because of valuations, and obviously Indian markets are relatively a bit expensive. So I think next 2-3 months, I think it might be a bit volatile. But I think over the year, I don't expect to be 1 year from here. I don't expect the markets to be negative.
But it can be flat.
Can be flat. Can be flat. What's possible?
Would you expect the price earnings to improve?
Price to earnings is improved, has improved, and I think you are asking about the P/E ratio, right, of
Right.
the markets. So I think it has already improved, and that re-rating is also something which I personally feel is due, where we assign higher P to companies whose cash flows are stable, whose management is good, whose leadership is good. Their profit growth, sales growth are good. So accordingly, even for our country where our sales growth, profit growth is improving, our GDP is at one of growing the fastest for emerging countries and the developed nations. So I think with higher growth, stable leadership in place, who's executing what they're saying, and they've been doing this since last 10 years. So I think some re-rating, is justified in my opinion. So I think that re-rating has been done, and there's still some space for further upwards re-rating for the Indian markets is what my view is.
So mid-term, short-term, cautious.
Yes, mid-term, short-term, a bit cautious. Long-term, very much so, bullish.
Right. Fine. Thank you so very much, Paras and Piyush. Thank you for your time. Thank you everybody for your kind patience. And I was expecting a few more questions, but I think for now we are done with the questions. Pankaj, I'm sure you can get some more questions and connect with them directly. Wishing you all the best, and hopefully we'll be able to give you some reasons to cheer for the NFO numbers.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Shashank. Thank you, Pankaj, and thank you the entire PL team for having us today. Thank you for your time, and I hope we are able to do well in this NFO.
Sure, sure. Thank you.